So let's talk about the reality of how this actually shows up in your life. If you have persistent moral perfectionism, this can cause chronic guilt and self-doubt and a lack of self-trust when it comes to decisions, when it comes to what you want from life, where you want to go, who you want to be. You're constantly asking yourself, was this the right thing to do? Second guessing yourself. And if you find, the slightest little reason as to why you may have made the wrong decision, or guilt for wanting to do something that doesn't necessarily fit the standard norm of things, if you feel like you've let other people down because of it, if you're not following what other people think you should do, then you feel guilt about that because your ultimate goal is to be perceived as a good person and to please other people. A big one in moral perfectionism is hyper accountability. I briefly mentioned this just before when I was talking about the religious aspects, but hyper accountability is essentially the idea that people feel an excessive amount of accountability for their actions, for their emotions, for their feelings, and often as well the actions and emotions of other people. It's an intense and often unrealistic and exaggerated need to be overly accountable and completely and utterly accountable, to never make a mistake, to never hurt somebody, to never cause discomfort for anybody, even if it's unintentional, even if your intentions weren't to hurt somebody. If you do, it's a huge problem and it's a massive cross on your morality track record, and you feel like you're a bad person, and it's very black and white thinking. Perfectionism can also cause overthinking of the ethics of everyday actions. If you're just having a normal casual conversation with somebody and you say something that you think might have been perceived as rude or mean, even if the other person hasn't said anything about it or given off any kind of indication that they may have taken it that way, you start to overthink those things and it breeds a lack of presence. You're losing time because you're always stuck in your head overthinking all of these tiny little things, when in reality that stuff doesn't even really matter and the other person may not have even thought twice about what you said, but it's unrealistic. You grab onto this very minuscule thing and run with it, which is what can cause the burnout. It's exhausting mentally. Something else it causes is an inability to properly rest or to be compassionate with yourself and feel good about who you are. Because you're constantly second guessing every single decision, you don't really know who you are because you're always thinking about other people. You're never present, so you're not really making worthwhile decisions in your life. You're never able to give yourself a break. You're never able to switch your brain off, and you never truly get rest, again leading to burnout because you never truly let yourself just relax. You're constantly thinking, constantly wondering, constantly second guessing. It can also cause you to harshly judge other people as well as yourself. You may, if you're holding yourself to these moral standards, you may also unintentionally be holding other people to those standards that you've written for yourself that are quite unrealistic. And it can cause a strain on relationships if it's left unchecked, because those other people may not think the same way that you do. It can be quite exhausting for other people as well around you because they feel like they're walking on eggshells. They feel like they're always being judged because you're judging them off your own moral code that's unrealistic and excessive. The last significant thing that moral perfectionism can cause is